day 6. It's actually the same as day 5, but you don't know that. Number 26, the ratio of girls to boys in a certain class is 5 to 8. If there are 39 students in the class, how many are not girls? Okay, so it's basically asking how many are boys. Okay, so how many are boys? Okay, so ratios are a little tricky. When you have a ratio and a number, the order of that matters a lot, right? So because girls was the first identifier and boys was the second, that means 5 represents girls and 8 represents boys. So we know that there are 39 students in the class, right? So the way that a ratio works is very simply this. Just put x values behind both numbers and add them together so you can find out how many or how much x is, so you can start figuring out how many kids there are for girls and boys. So for example, 5x plus 8x equals 39. That's going to be 13x equals 39. Divide by 13 on both sides, and I'm going to get x equals 3. Okay, so x equaling 3 is really important here for us. Now I can figure out how many girls and how many boys there are in the class. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to substitute 3 back into the x values, and I'm going to get 15 and 24. Now remember, order mattered here. So 15 represents girls, and 24 represents boys. So how many are not girls? C, 24, okay? Again, you could kind of figure that out without using the algebra, but it'll be way harder because you'll be guessing and checking. So for example, you knew boys, there was a bigger amount of them. So 9 wouldn't work because that's way less than half of 39. 15 would also not work, but if you did this incorrectly, like you switched it, you probably would choose B. 27 seems a little bit high, so you probably should have been able to at least eliminate choice A if you didn't use the algebraic model, okay? But use the algebra. Ratios need x values behind both numbers so you can solve for the variable. And you can find out how many of whatever the ratio is asking you is. So again, C. 27, solve for x. Okay, it's relatively easy compared to the problems that we've done in the past. So I'm just going to solve the equation, right? So let's combine like terms on the left-hand side first. Let's draw a line in the middle. So 4x minus 7x is negative 3x minus 2x, and that's going to equal 15. So that's negative 5x equals 15. Divide by negative 5 on both sides, and I'm going to get x equals negative 3, which is A. Okay? Again, you could have plugged in each value to x and solved. That might take way longer than you needed to, though. 28. So another equation problem. When we have fractions on either sides of the equal sign, we want to cross multiply. Okay, so you might know this is the butterfly method. We're just basically going to cross multiply to do this. Now there is a trick because we have a quantity over here, which is a binomial. Okay, so let's do the easy part first. X times 8, and I can rewrite that as just 8x. Now that's going to equal 5 times x plus 3, the quantity of x plus 3, okay? So I can't just simply multiply 5 times x and put this as 5x plus 3. That won't work because the 5 has to distribute to both the x and the 3. We're going to have to represent that as distributive property. So 8x is going to equal 5x, right, because I'm distributing, plus 15. Draw a line down the middle, subtract 5x on both sides, and I'm going to get 3x equals 15. Divide by 3, and x is 5. Choice D, okay? Not too bad. If you remembered that you had to cross multiply, then you were in good shape here. All right, flying through this section. All right, a plane ticket costs $99 plus an additional 8 cents for every mile flown. If Juan paid a total of $195, how many miles did he fly? So we need to really kind of set up an equation for this. So the plane ticket costs $99 plus an additional 8 cents for every mile flown. Okay? And it tells us how much he paid totally. And now this is going to help us out. Ooh, x, because I don't know how many miles he flew yet. I'm just going to solve the equation for x, right? So let's go down the middle here. Subtract 99 on both sides because I'm going to combine like terms. Okay, and then I'll get 0.08x equals 96, right? And then we'll divide on both sides. And that will give me x equals, and I think it was 1,200. That's how many miles he flew, so my answer will be D, okay? Again, you can use the guess and check method, like you could have went right down the list. So if you weren't sure how to set this up, you could have put 900 in for X, multiplied 900 times 8 cents, and then added 99 and see if it got you 195. If it did, then you knew that A was the answer, and you could have done that all the way through. This method's a little bit better, and that really is only because the consequence is it's taking too much time, right? So I would have went through A, B, and C and wasted a lot of time on the PSAT. Not good. Not good. Not good. 30. Last one. Quincy purchased a phone plan that costs $79 per month plus 15 cents for each megabyte of data used. How much will Quincy's monthly bill be if he used 250 megabytes in data in October? Okay, so we're looking for the total amount of his bill for October. So let's set this up. It's $79 a month plus 15 cents for each megabyte. And I can use M or X, doesn't matter, okay? And that's gonna give us our total, which we don't know yet. But instead of giving us the total and trying to find out how many megabytes he used, it's telling us how many megabytes he used, and it's 250 megabytes. So I'm just gonna substitute 250 in there to solve. So this is gonna be 79 plus 0.015 times 250, right? And that will give me my final total. Now that's gonna give me $116.50, all right? Not too bad, it was much more straightforward than the last time. See you next week. Don't miss me too much.